Along with a relatively weak physical strength and limited height, the small eyes have long been considered by Europeans to be an identity of Asians. It is undeniable that the West is always taller and has deep double eyelids, but the concept of poor fitness has been redefined from Park Ji-sung's time. Number 13 of Man United, after giving Steven Pienaar, a player from Africa, to inhale smoke, has been assigned the name the Three Lungs. Strong, fast, fearless to touch, and blazing into the 90th minute, Park Ji-sung was once the most important strategic card at Old Trafford. Park Ji-sung's success story is not considered to be legend for the children of the Republic of Korea. Just 2 years after the Three Lungs left the Premier League, Korean found a successor who couldn't be more worthy. Son Heung-Min, born in 1992, worth 30 million euros, Gareth Bale's new Bath, London and Premier League, owning 4 goals and 2 assists in the first 7 games for Tottenham in the 2015-16 season, replacing Harry Kane as the person who helped Tottenham climb high on the table. It is too early to say Son Heung-min will succeed, but the foundation for success is already in number 7, and the whole of Korea is counting on him as the legendary sequel to the eye-catching boys conquering the mist. Son Heung-min, continuing the story of the small eyes in the land of mist. Son Heung-min is very good at communicating in German. However, English is different. When I first joined Tottenham, number 7 was asked about the initial difficulties in a short interview. He was confused for a few seconds and then scratched his head, scratching his ears. Actually, I have no problem with my expertise, but the traffic here is confusing. Driving is even more difficult than dribbling past Chelsea. The cute English language makes people laugh and raises questions about how the Korean guy will adjust to England when the language is different. For the next few months, Heung-min was really struggling to live in England. Culture, weather, food, and the law. Banning red cards is the biggest obstacle facing the most expensive player in Asian history. Among thousands of non-professional challenges, the performance of number 7 is just a blurry dot. Not too bad, 11 goals in the whole season, but it is not commensurate with the price of 30 million euros that Rooster had paid to have him. However, deep down, Heung-min is still a real killer. Of course, no one can underestimate a man who once scored twice against Dortmund and gave a hat-trick to Wolfsburg and Hamburg, who when looking at it does not know which leg is the right foot. At the age of 16, he left his hometown to visit the young Hamburg training station, then became the youngest player to score since 1992 in the Bundesliga with a goal against Cologne in October 2010. 2 seasons later, when Hamburg bleed badly, they could still rank 7th with the inspiration that no one else but the eye-catching boy could play any position in the attack. Placing him on the spearhead, the Korean striker showed his sensitivity to the penalty area. Turning him to the wing, Heung-min displayed his ability to break through with great speed and stamina. Defending, number 7 of Spurs does not have the type of penetration through the opposite defense as Ozil, but is capable of long-range, flexible movement to harass and support effective defense. And when overcoming the initial difficulties, assassins come back as assassins. Heung-min is really making people obsessed with the image he celebrates, partly because it is so familiar this season, partly because the bright smile is too similar to Park Ji-sung. With a terrible performance of 68 minutes, table with 6 goals in all competitions, when both the Premier League and Champions League have just passed the last stage, Heung-min is gradually making Spurs fans forget the absence of 6-7 weeks due to injury by captain Harry Kane. Pep Guardiola's Man City scared the entire Premier League, but Tottenham, on Son Heung-min's feet, subdued the conqueror from the industrial city, who arrogantly said craving to lose before meeting Spurs. Not scoring, but number 7 is the person who pumped the ball for Dele Alli, hit Claudio Bravo net. Further afield, 4 goals were shared between Stoke and Middlesbrough, giving Tottenham 2 destructive wins. Preventing Son Heung-min from gaining excitement is almost impossible. One of the factors that helped Heung-min show tremendous resilience after just one summer was Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino's ability to use exemplary personnel. To be honest, Pochettino had intended to sell the original Chechen striker before the start of the season, but it was the versatility that enabled Heung-Min to continue to stick with White Hart Lane. In the process of building the squad for Spurs, Pochettino took maneuverability at the root with a constant change of position of all the upline players. It is an environment where Dele Alli clears the positions of 6, 8, and 10. Lamela and Eriksen continuously go out and in the middle. The space for Heung-Min, also moving maneuver, suddenly increases. The ability to accelerate and finish in more poses than the aforementioned teammates has turned Heung-Min into the #1 striker in London now. Second, Son Heung-Min's success also has a contribution of luck. He spent a season adapting relatively peacefully, especially when looking at the plight of the Christian Benteke and Angel Di Maria. Simply because at Man United and Liverpool the environment is tougher with seasonal filters, and White Hart Lane opens the door for many players to integrate before being brought to light. Danny Rose and Ryan Mason of previous seasons are some good examples. In addition, right at the time Heung-Min entered the movie, Harry Kane was injured again. This is unfortunate for Spurs, but it makes room for number 7 to show his ability. With both talent and luck, it is not difficult to understand when the fate of Asia is on the shoulders of the 24-year-old striker. Park Ji-sung came to Man United at the same time as Son Heung-Min now and had 7 years under Sir Alex Ferguson's reign. For comparison, the experience of playing the peak of a junior is not just when he has been fighting for 8 years on the old continent. Shinji Kagawa failed because Old Trafford didn't give him many chances, and Sir Alex himself admitted it was difficult to use the Japanese midfielder properly. In the opposite direction, Son Heung-Min is wearing a shirt that fits perfectly with him. Under Pochettino, admittedly at this time the Korean player is in the situation with all the factors to shine, and it is right to blame him if he fails after a good run of momentum like this. So what do you think about Son Heung-Min, the golden boy of Korea? A young player has a strong spirit and discipline. Let us know your thought. Thank you for watching.